we're speaking from the roof of the Khaya family home for the fourth day that we've been able to gather.
Yeah.
And when I think about the 482 days that Wara and Sultana came up here by themselves, and they held this space, and they served, they led as symbols for courage, for freedom, for what could be. And they raised their voices and they asked the world to hear while they were experiencing kinds of torture and humiliation that it's not my place to even translate or repeat. Not that any of this is. And when we came as a delegation, and I think back about what I didn't know 4 days ago before we entered the Khaya home, I remember how we came with hopes for change based on what the Khaya family had asked us for. And we came hoping and asking and ready to talk about the need for an end to rape, an end to violence, an end to break-ins, an end to destruction, an end to poisoning, an end to violation, an end to holding these women in their home, an end to ignoring the indignities that they have suffered. And we came in with this list for the Khaya family, and we didn't know if we were even going to make it into the house. And when we did, when we arrived, and we all cried because we were so surprised that this thing that seemed like maybe it was going to be impossible, and we didn't know if it was really going to happen, was really happening. When we ran out of tears for the first time, immediately Sultana started talking not about what she wanted, but that if anything were for her, that it had to be for all of us, for all of her sisters, for every single one of the women on this roof, for all of their families, their partners, their children, their disappeared loved ones, their imprisoned loved ones, their exiled loved ones, their loved ones who have been killed and gone, that we recognize all the generations who have suffered and all those to come, that we build a better future. And that was, she transformed my understanding of what it meant to come at her invitation. She transformed what I thought we were doing here from coming as my original understanding to answer her call for support and safety, and to help us, and so humbly to help me understand that when she is safe, what that means is not just that she and her family are safe, but that the Sahrawi people won't be vulnerable to the kinds of threats and violence that she and her family have suffered, the kinds of separations, seeing her reunite with her brothers, her sisters, her family. And we say her, and then we realize that it's not just her. And so many of the speeches that I haven't been translating because I have no business translating them, and because I don't want to interrupt them with the things that I can understand. But what I can understand is that so many of these statements include the names of the other women standing in solidarity with each other, and recognizing ways that the call for an end to the pressure and violence on this community is a call for freedom for every single person in this community. And that the women are standing here because they're able to now, but they have tried before. And when we came here, as visitors, as guests, and came in large part because we were invited to, as Americans, to come and bear witness and to offer the kind of protection that American identity can give to a space like this. It was a heavy ask because that same protection that I enjoy everywhere that I go is provided by an imbalance of power and a broken system that also props up the Moroccan occupation of Western Sahara. And so it's a hard thing. It's a hard thing to stand and offer something and to receive so much, knowing that there's so much more to dismantle. And when you see us gathering, I want people around the world to see that this is joyful and this is beautiful, and this is not the beginning or the end of this. This is neither the beginning or the end. There's so much more to do, and to plainly state, we are hearing about things that are still happening to put pressure on the edges of this house. We can see the police officers ducking out of sight all the time. I filmed a car backing up in the exact same way that the men were backing up yesterday around the same corner. And we're hearing about questioning, detaining people who are even suspected of being involved in helping women get to this roof. And this is not a long-term solution. This is a call for change, a call for justice, a call for reconciliation. And one of the things that has deeply touched me, and that has been observed by our visiting group, is that not once has anyone, as they told their stories and recounted their traumas, ever said a bad word about the Moroccan people. And we were just having lunch downstairs, and I heard the statistic, if you can call this a statistic, that since 1975, when Morocco took control of Western Sahara, there has not been a single attack on a Moroccan civilian by any Sahrawi. And the commitment and depth of the commitment and understanding of nonviolence in this community is staggering. And I'm taking the time to let my voice be heard, because my main message is that when I listened to these women, to this community, to lots of people who aren't up on this roof, who have come and gone and flowed and celebrated and left and ate and laughed and cried in this house in the last 4 days, when I started to really hear what people were saying, it's just a call for freedom, for dignity to exist, and every detail of that follows, to relate to a homeland, to have independence, to move, to be free, to move without fear of being harmed, or of your children being harmed, or of attacks of torture, of rape. To be able to come to a roof and raise your voice, to do nothing wrong. And to gather in community and share hopes for the way that our lives could be. That is the heart of that opens the door to all the other possibilities. And I don't want to take more time away from what these women are doing on their own without me talking. But if there's any way that, if you're out there and you're listening to this and you don't understand Arabic and you're not sure about what's happening in Western Sahara, please let this be something that you pay attention to. Let this unfolding story that is unfolding, and it is so much more than a story, please let it be something that you care about. Let it be something that connects to what you think about during your day and the way that you think about everything, because this is all connected. This is all connected. And there are a million other things to say, but I just look at my sister's eyes, and I want them to decide what we do next.
تحية الأخوة تحية الأخوة بين نساء العالم من الصحراء الغربية إلى أمريكا.